Hello, my name is Eric Putkonen. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about looking at receiving. Now, it's not a book on non-duality, but a book I recommend is The Power of Receiving by Amanda Owen. I read it many years ago and it gave me some fodder to contemplate and play with. But in a non-duality sense, I've come to see that one of the ways the ego perpetuates itself and strengthens itself is in denying that which is coming in. It's pushing back and denying instead of receiving. Kind of like if someone wanted to give you a gift and you go, no, I possibly couldn't. And you're pushing it back. You're pushing it away. In that way, we're refusing to receive that which is offered. In today's video, I thought we might look at this, look at receiving, and maybe play with some experiments. Let's start with a first experiment. And you could do this eyes open, eyes closed, doesn't matter. But you want to kind of connect with the feeling in the body, because this is an experiential experiment, not a mental contemplation. But think about all the people in your life, friends, family, coworkers, whatever. But all the people that you have goodwill with. All of them are trying to shower love on you. To simplify it. Could be companionship, friendship, whatever. But they're all showering love in its various ways on you. Now, in a kinesthetic or intuitive way, try to grasp the answer to this question. What percentage of the love have you received? What percentage have you accepted? What percentage have you allowed to come to you? And you might get a sense that it wasn't 100. That you haven't allowed or accepted it all. And these are friends, family, people that care about you. Why have you not fully received whatever love they offered? And that's where the contemplation begins. Well, not the contemplation, but let's say inquiry. That's where the inquiry begins, is you need to look at your own thoughts, your own concepts, your beliefs. On what basis are you refusing the love being offered? On what basis are you pushing this away? And there could be many reasons. You have to find your own unique reasons as well as maybe some of the common ones. But a common one is some people feel they are not worthy of love. And so they never fully accept love that's given because they don't feel they're worthy of accepting it. Well, that's something to look at then and delve into and work through that. Or let's take another inquiry. In your past, what percentage of the time do you think that when someone's offered you a gift or a compliment, have you just accepted it graciously? Because so often when people are offered a gift or someone's trying to do something for them or give them something, we resist it. Like, no, I couldn't accept. On what basis, on what reason? You need to inquire, you need to look at. Why is this? Because I know that in some cultures, I know it's particularly was so in where I grew up in Minnesota, it was, for some reason, so many people have this idea that you should be a giver and but you should not accept. You shouldn't accept things. I think it was more so even in the past, because My parents, for example, it's horrible to give them anything. They just won't accept it. They're continually refusing it. And so it's very difficult to give to some people, because I think many people may have the feeling that they like to give, but they don't want to receive. But where's this discrepancy lie? Where's this inequity arise? For other people may also want to have the pleasure to be a giver, but unless there's someone to receive, they can't give. Why are you denying them the pleasure of doing something for you or giving something to you? Because you want to give but never receive. There's this inequity. There's this misbalance. And there could be many reasons for this. But we need to look at our fundamental misconceptions and beliefs and things that for some reason we keep pushing away and holding back that which is being offered and given. And so, with this in mind, let's try a more general experiment. And again, this is not a mental contemplation. It is a kind of a kinesthetic, experiential feeling for the answer, kind of an intuitively grasping it. Here's the question. Of all the love being offered and trying to be given by the universe, what percentage has been received? What percentage has been accepted openly? Openly received, just receiving it. And whatever that percentile is, if it's below 100, that means you are pushing it away. You are doing something, because it's just being offered. Here, I'm showering this love. The universe is like, I'm showering this love upon you, but you may have this feeling of, I'm not accepting it all. Well, why aren't you accepting it all? Why are you resisting this love, which I have mentioned? Love is a unifying factor. Why are you insisting on the division? Why are you keeping it away? It's an interesting thing to look into. Now, if you don't want to inquire on every item, when you get the sense of, I'm resisting a certain amount, what you might want to do, or try, it's not really a try. It's either you do or you don't. But just simply drop the resistance. Just fully accept at that point. When you ask the question to yourself, what percentage of the universe's love have I openly received and accepted? And you get a sense that maybe it's 80% or whatever the number might be, that you get a sense if it's below 100. You just go, okay, I'm going to cease resisting it. I'm just going to accept the rest. And you just allow it. Allow the rest to be received without resistance. Then you have the next question. The universe is offering, universe, God, however you want to put it, is offering blessing upon you. There's a blessing upon you. What percentage has been openly received and accepted? Again, you might notice it's not quite 100. You're resisting blessings coming in. Then you might say, what percentage of God's grace have you accepted? Is it 100? There's different ways you can play with this. And that's from a universal standpoint or a divine standpoint. You could say, love, blessings, grace. There's different ways you can experiment and play with this. But why would you ever deny and repel any love, blessings, or grace? On one hand, you could just cease resisting and accept it. And that's one way to play with this. But another way is maybe the first time you do this exercise or experiment, just drop the resistance and openly accept. And then as some time passes, do this again. And then if you notice it's still not 100, look at what's sticking and why. What is it that you're still denying and why? And it's a way of delving into the me's resistance. And when you do this, it is a way to diminish the me, because the me is perpetuating and sustaining itself by resisting this goodness from being received. It's like, no, I couldn't accept, or I don't want to accept, or I shouldn't accept, or whatever the reason may be. But for some reason, we are resisting this. And then going from a macrocosmic universe or, divine standpoint, you could go back to your parents. You can go much smaller and just go, from my parents, of the amount, the percentage of love they give me, and say that's 100. Of that percentage, of that amount, what have I accepted? And then you might find it's not quite 100. You haven't accepted it all. And then you can delve into. Well, again, you could try to just accept it. Not try, but just accept it, see what happens. Quit resisting. Allow it to be accepted and received. And, including the past. It's all, consider it there and just you're accepting it all now. But then again, at some other time, you might want to go through this experiment, and if you find it's still not 100, then look into why. What is it you're holding against your parents, perhaps? Or what rule have you created in your mind that says you should not or cannot accept this love that's being offered? And in this way, we're looking at our ability to receive. We are investigating where we're getting in our own way to receive. Because it's very important to be able to receive that which is given. As I said before, many like to experience being the giver. And you are denying them the ability and opportunity to be a giver by refusing to accept what is given. And so if someone offers you a compliment, can you just gracefully accept the compliment? Go into your own past experience. When someone offers you a compliment, what have you tried to have you tried to brush it away? Have you tried to just ignore it? Have you tried to deny it? Oh, no, that's not right. In what ways have you failed in receiving a compliment? In what ways are you repulsing and repelling and trying not to be complimented? Or you can even look at specifically, maybe you have issues because of your own misconceptions or beliefs or whatever. Maybe you have issues about being complimented about specific things. What areas are you refusing to receive? Because some people might have gotten over, the inability to receive gifts, for example. But then they might have still a hard time receiving compliments about, maybe, could be anything. Their cleverness, physical appearance, whatever. Maybe why do we not want to be complimented about certain things? Because a compliment is a goodness. But it is very hard to give or compliment if you are not able to receive. Not only is it something within you might not like being complimented, but because of that, not wanting to be complimented, you might not want to compliment others. And so there is this delving into the conditioning, the beliefs, concepts, the stuff that we're holding that is blocking the goodnesses coming in. Gifts, compliments, love, grace, all these things that really, why are we denying them? Why are we restricting it? Why are we trying to keep it at bay? There's no real reason to do this. I mean, like I said, some people might have a hang up about receiving and they want to be givers instead. Well, is it a superiority thing? Are they trying to have a higher position? I'm the giver, you're the receiver, and so there's this pecking order established? I mean, who knows? You have to delve into your own whys, whats, and wherefores. You need to look at your own conditioning, your beliefs, your concepts, from which this stuff arises. Where is this resistance arising? From where does it arise? And if you can see the conditioning and trigger and fully understand it, then there is the opportunity to let it go. Because you might find that, if you delve deeply enough, you might find this unconscious conditioning that you're bringing to the conscious mind. And once it's in the conscious mind, it may appear ridiculous. And when it's deeply seen to be false, it falls away. And so in this way, we can play with, and experiment with, trying to become aware of our ability or inability to receive. Because it is our inability to receive that is helping create this division and otherness. And that is, it's a wall. It's trying to keep things at bay. And so it's an interesting way to diminish the me. And that's why, as a spiritual practice, potentially for, non-duality, enlightenment, it's a diminishing of the me, which has its own value in creating a more conducive environment. Not that you must overcome all such conditioning, and that an enlightened person would not have any such conditioning, and they'd be perfectly okay with receiving everything unconditionally at all times. That may not be the case. I'm not saying after awakening it is an unrestricted accepting of everything given. Because there's always a little bit of conditioning that may not be seen, it may not have been deeply investigated and seen, and so it may arise. It doesn't particularly matter. But I find it is worth looking at. It's a curiosity for me. Why are we resisting the goodnesses of life that's being offered? Help. Someone offers help. Oh, I possibly couldn't. What percentage of all the help offered in your life have you accepted and received? Accepted and received is together. They go together. If everything's accepted, it's not resisted, and if it's not resisted, it's received. So they kind of go together. But of all the help that's ever been offered, what percentage has been denied, resisted? I mean, I'm not saying asking for help. Asking for help is another aspect. But just receiving the help offered, the compliments offered, the gifts offered, the love offered, the grace offered, the goodnesses, what percentage have you denied? And it's an interesting thing to investigate. Anyways, if you got any questions, comments, please post below. But until next time, thank you much.